Hey guys, this video covers exponents and roots. The entire playlist teaching IGCSE Math will be in the description and at the end of the video. Inverse operations. Addition and subtraction are inverse operations. They undo each other. For example, 17 plus 3 gives us 20. Now if you wanted to get back to 17, all we will have to do is 20 minus 3, and that takes us back to 17. 3 plus 4 gives us 7. Now, if you want to go back to 4, all we had to do was 7 minus 3, and that brings us back to 4. Multiplication and division are also inverse operations. For example, 4 times 3. 4 times 3 gives us 12. 12 divided by 4 gives us 3. 12 times 2 gives us 24. Now, if you wanted to get back to 2, 24 divided by 12 would give us 2. Exponents consist of a power and a base. The power states the number of times the base is multiplied by itself. That may be a bit confusing to hear, but let's simplify that. Say we have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. That can be written as 3 to the power of 4, which just says that 3 is multiplied by itself 4 times. 3 is the base, while 4 is the power or the exponent. Let's try some questions. 4 times 4. 4 times 4 can be written as 4 to the power of 2, also called 4 squared. And 4 times 4 gives us 16. 2 times 2 times 2 can be written as 2 to the power of 3, also known as 2 cubed. 2 times 2 gives us 4, and 4 times 2 gives us 8. Negative 3 times negative 3 can be written as negative 3 to the power of 2, which is equal to 9. Now there are some rules you need to know. 1 to the power of any number gives us 1, and any non-zero number to the power of 0 gives us 1. I'll explain the non-zero part soon. 1 times 1 times 1 still just gives us 1. So 1 to the power of any number just gives us 1. And 8 to the power of 0 is just 1. Now, what if we had 0 to the power of 0? We can't multiply 0 times itself 0 times. So people still don't know what the answer to this is. So it's undefined. You're not going to get any questions saying 0 to the power of 0 because no one knows the answer to that. Roots are inverse operations of exponents. They undo exponents. 2 is the degree of the root, which means square root. So the square root of 9. What number times itself gives us 9? So x squared is equal to 9. We need to find x. X is equal to 3 because 3 times 3 gives us 9. So the square root of 9 is equal to 3. So 2 times 2 times 2 gives us 8. Now if we want to find the number to the power of 3 which gives us 8, we do the cube root of 8. Cube root of 8 gives us 2. Now if we don't have a degree for the root, we just assume that it's a 2. So this is the square root. The square root of 16. What number times itself gives us 16? The answer is 4 because 4 times 4 gives us 16. So what number times itself gives the number 81? The square root of 81 is 9 because 9 squared is equal to 81. Cube root of 8. What number to the power of 3 gives us 8? The answer is 2 because 2 times 2 times 2 gives us 8. Exponents can also be written as fractions. The numerator is the exponent of the base and the denominator is the degree of the root. For example, 8 to the power of 2 over 3. Now the denominator of the power is going to be the degree of the root. So we know that the degree is 3. So it's going to be cube root. Now the base is 8 and the numerator of the fraction is a 2. So this is our simplified form. So this equates to cube root of 8 times 8. 8 times 8 gives us 64. So cube root of 64, which gives us 4, because 4 times 4 times 4 would give us 64. We have 9 to the power of a half. So we know that the degree of the root is going to be 2, as the denominator is 2. So square root of 9 and the numerator is 1. So the power, the exponent of the base is just going to be 1. And any number to the power of 1 is still the same number. So this can be written as the square root of 9. So we know that the square root of 9 is equal to 3, because 3 times 3 would bring us back to 9. Let's try some questions. 4 to the power of 3 over 2. So we know that the degree of the root is going to be 2. Square root of 4 to the power 3, as the numerator of the fraction is a 3. And that is the same as the square root of 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 times 4 is the cube root, a cube of 4. So that's going to be the square root of 64. And the square root of 64 is just 8, because 8 times 8 brings us back to 64. Now let's try 3 to the power of 4 over 2. Now we know that 3 to the power 4 over 2 is written as the square root of 3 to the power of 4, which is equal to the square root of 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And 3 to the power of 4 is 81. So we're finding the square root of 81. Now square root of 81 is 9, because 9 times 9 brings us back to 81. So 9 squared is 81, and the square root of 81 is 9. 64 to the power of a half is just the square root of 64. And we know that the square root of 64 is 8, because 8 times 8 brings us back to 64. Now let's try some questions. Now to write this as the rational exponent, we have the base of x. So it's going to be x to the power of a fraction. Now the degree of the root is a 4. So we know that the denominator of the fraction is going to be a 4. And we know that the exponent on the base is a 2. So our final answer is x to the power 2 over 4, which just simplifies to x to the power of a half, because 2 over 4 is the same as 1 over 2. What is the value of 5 squared? 5 squared is the same as 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Solve the square root of 12 times 3. So the square root of 12 times 3, 12 times 3 is just 36. So we want to find the square root of 36. 6 times 6 gives us 36. So 6 square gives us 36. So the square root of 36 would give us 6. That is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. Tell me if I helped you understand exponents and roots a bit better down in the comments. Subscribe for more IGCSE content and like to help the channel. Thank you.